If you're at any critical point in your life, you should dress the part because you need to do everything you can to tip the odds in your favour. And with that in mind, today I'm taking a look at Dance Away by Roxy Music, and I didn't plan to do this song today, but inspiration struck when I was in the shower, as it often does. Let me take these off. As it often does, and I've had this jacket that I never wear, and I just thought, let's tackle a little bit of Roxy Music. Also, the song that I put out yesterday, thanks very much, for the love and support and kind words about that. And for those of you that haven't checked it out, I'll link it in the description. It's a song about lost love, amongst other things. And I think Dance Away is just a track that I've always loved, It's musically, it's great. The Brian Ferry's delivery of the vocal is great. And it's got this odd use of a metronome, like all through it. I don't think that was intentional that was going to be on the record, but in the end they just left it in because it does just suit it so well. But anyway, let's take a look at some of these lyrics, shall we? Yesterday, well, it seemed so cool. When I walked you home, kissed goodnight, I said it's love, you said all right. I've only just realised, that the line here, the line in here, when I walked you home, the opening line of my song that I posted yesterday. Do you remember when I walked you home? It's funny, isn't it? I mean, everything is borrowed, isn't it? But of course, I've been a big fan of this song, although before today I haven't listened to it for quite a few years. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting how that's come to pass. But it says a lot, doesn't it, just in these short 5 lines. Yesterday, well, it seemed so cool when I walked you home, kissed goodnight. I said it's love, you said all right. He didn't see it coming, as in the past I've not seen some things like this coming, breakups. What I love in the recorded version, in the song, is his delivery. Go and listen to it if you don't know it, and go and listen to it if you do know it. But when he says, I said it's love, you said all right, the way he delivers that, you said all right, as if you're like, it just says so much in the inflection, in the way that he says it, like she didn't want to let him down, but she didn't really believe it. It's funny how I could never cry until tonight, and you passed by, hand in hand with another guy. You're dressed to kill, but guess who's dying? Man, crying is something I struggle with, man, and I guess a lot of men do. Maybe a lot of women do as well, I'm not too sure. And I'm not sure when I developed that or had that hindrance, but I've always really struggled with tears, man. And what's interesting about learning to be an actor is in recent years, maybe 2 or 3 times in class, I've cried and had a good cry, but the way I've learned to work is it's that I don't. I try not to play a character. It's about freedom and allowing yourself to be a vessel. So the tears that I've cried weren't mine and didn't feel like mine, and strangely enough, it hasn't really helped me in my ability to cry on my own. My own tears. But I'm working on that as well, because it's just important, isn't it? To try and do your best not to repress stuff. But anyway, it's funny how I could never cry until tonight and you passed by, hand in hand with another guy. Man, it's painful, isn't it? I wonder how old Brian Ferry was when he wrote this, because I think he was a teacher, wasn't he, for years and years. So I expect he was probably in his 30s when Roxy Music had any great success. So, but this feels like a young man's lament, doesn't it? It feels like a young man's lament. It reminds me of being in my early 20s. I used to go to a night called Blast Off at the Civic Hall in Wolverhampton and sort of hang around in the back bar. And I don't ever remember this particular song come on, but for some reason it just takes me back, I suppose, to standing on the sidelines and I suppose not really knowing how to speak to girls, Yeah. It's funny how I could never cry until tonight and you passed by, hand in hand with another guy. Yeah, has anybody ever experienced that kind of thing as well, It reminds me of another song, actually, Jimmy Nail, Ain't No Doubt. I love that track. When she says, it's not you, it's me. I need a little space, a place to find myself again, Oh, yeah, I know goodbye when I hear it. And, yeah, that's often you sort of get out of jail card, is it, that people can't tend to play? I just need a little space. And then 5 minutes, the next day, you see the girl, the boy, you see him with someone else, Painful as it is at the time, that kind of thing, is funny, I think, with some distance behind it, because of course, you're better off out of that kind of relationship, isn't it? There needs to be a mutual respect and love and growth and all that sort of stuff, I suppose. But young love is funny and interesting, isn't it? And great source material. And just thinking how much you mature as you grow. I guess some people don't. That's making me think of something I heard recently as well, that you need to replace. As Jordan Peterson said it. You need to replace your juvenile hedonistic personality with a more mature vision, and I felt like that. That's something I could relate to. And that doesn't mean giving up on your dreams, or it's quite the opposite. I mean, if you've got, because I suppose music and art in general is very intertwined, isn't it, with hedonism and danger and all that kind of stuff. But it is the opposite, because especially now I get older, it's like, right, there are things I want to achieve, and the only way I'm going to achieve them is by turning up for myself every day, and working towards them, which is why this year, I decided to start this channel, and to talk about music and to try and build an audience and build a community, and you've all been so wonderfully supportive, of what I've been doing, the reactions I've been doing, and the music that I've put out, which isn't a great deal yet, but there is more coming, and I feel like I'm building momentum, and that's great. But let's get back to the song, okay? You're dressed to kill, and guess who's dying? That's. I wonder if she was dressing as well towards the end of their relationship. There's little subtle signs you put off when you don't want to be with somebody anymore, I suppose. Not looking after yourself. When people split up as well, don't they? They always tend to. People in long-term relationships perhaps let themselves go a little bit, but then when everyone, well, I know when I've come out of relationships, maybe I tend to Do I tend to look after myself better? To be honest, I wasn't very good at looking after myself at all until the last few years. Dance away the heartache, dance away the tears, dance away the heartache, dance away your fears, dance away. Dance is just so important, isn't it? Fundamental to human experience and expression, I think, and sometimes there's nothing better, is there, than just putting on some of your favourite tunes and having a dance, even in private, on your own, you know. I recently reacted to Nevermind by Disraeli and the Small Gods, and the line in that is, was it, never mind, it doesn't matter what you look like, all that matters is your dance. All that matters is you participate in life, I think, you know. Loneliness is a crowded room full of open hearts turned to stone, all together, all alone. This reminds me of that back room at the Civic Hall, actually, again. And yeah, everyone goes out, don't they, looking for connection, but everyone is so closed off frequently. It reminds me of the Robin Williams line, there's worse things than being alone. Being with people that make you feel like you're alone. Paraphrasing, it's not exactly word for word, is it, what he said, I don't think, but that's the gist of it. Loneliness is a crowded room full of open hearts turned to stone, all together, all alone. It's cool imagery, isn't it, man, and stuff that everybody can relate to. I suppose it's why love songs and songs about heartbreak are so popular. And I would guess, what do you think? Do love songs, which they probably fall into one or two categories, don't they? Love songs, like heartbreak songs, or I'm in love with you songs. How wonderful is this? Maybe there's some subgenres of that, regret, all that sort of stuff. But are there more heartbreak songs, do you reckon, than actual, love songs? They connect more, right? Everyone can relate to that, I suppose. And even if it's not like heartbreak in a relationship, heartbreak in your life with things not turning out how you want or whatever, But as they say, time heals all wounds, doesn't it? All at once, my whole world had changed. Now I'm in the dark, off the wall. Let the strobe light up the mall. I close my eyes and dance till dawn. All at once, my whole world had changed. That's about thinking, I guess, you feel like you have certainty, I suppose, when you're in a relationship, because you plan for the future, I guess, or if you don't plan, that. Do you expect? It's just, I suppose, having the rug pulled from under you, isn't it? When relationships fall apart. And in this case, yeah, she's the one that's done the rug pulling. So it's a great like double meaning, isn't it? Now I'm in the dark, off the wall. In the dark of the disco, really, but also in the dark, metaphorically, in life. Let the strobe light up the mall. I close my eyes and dance till dawn. that's all you can do, isn't it? In any difficult time in your life, I suppose, any difficult moment, the best thing to do, I suppose, is try and connect with something more primal, is it? Or more spiritual, or bigger than, or try not to overthink it, and just go inside yourself. Dancing is just is a good cure, or a good treatment anyway, if not a cure. Dance away the heartache, dance away the tears, dance away the heartache, dance away your fears. Now I know I must walk the line until I find an open door off the street onto the floor. That's a very. He's not just talking about the disco. Once again, here is a. He's just got to walk the line in front of him until new opportunities present themselves. I suppose, romantic or otherwise. Although rebounds, they're never great ideas either, are they? Mm-hmm. There was I, many times a fool. I hope and pray, but not too much. Out of reach is out of touch. All the way is far enough. There was I, many times a fool. You've got to be willing to be a fool, I suppose, many, many times in your life, haven't you? Because that's what life is, isn't it? Because you start off and you don't know very much, and then as you go on, you learn a little bit more. And then I can't remember. I watched something with Neil deGrasse Tyson the other day, and he was talking. I can't remember what the curve is, but there was some curve he was describing where when you begin to learn about a topic, your knowledge increases until the point where you think you know it all. And just thinking about it now, it's just the same as in life, isn't it? You start off, you're born wet behind the ears and all that, and I don't know where that phrase comes from, but anyway. And then I guess as you grow up through your teenage years, and then at some point you feel like you know it all, and you might know it all in the narrow confines of your experience of the world, your vision of the world. But you don't know what you don't know, do you? So there's this vast sea of knowledge and experience that's outside your realm of experience. And I suppose anytime you encounter any of that, you're going to be a fool, and I guess it depends who you are, doesn't it, and your experience and your upbringing and all that sort of stuff, and your personality. But I was naive, I think, a long way into my 20s about a lot of stuff, Maybe a bit more streetwise on some other stuff, so I don't know. Doing a wonderful job of digressing. Yeah, but it's necessary to be a fool and to learn. Oh yeah, that curve I was mentioning. So then you get to the point where you think you know it all, and then the curve drops off, and you learn a bit more about whatever the given subject is, and then you realise, shit, man, I don't know anything about this, and then gradually the curve comes back up, not to probably that height where you think you know it all, but you're quite secure in your knowledge of your given field, I suppose. I hope and pray, but not too much. That could be seen as like a call to action, couldn't it? Because you do hope and you do pray, and I think that's necessary, because I've come to believe, currently I believe that verbalizing and speaking out loud the things you want to happen, or writing them down, to be accountable to yourself or whatever it is, and that's a prayer, whether you believe, in any higher power or God or whatever it is. Even if you don't verbalize in that, it's words have power, don't they? Words have power. I suppose that's why, armies can be raised on speeches, and people go to war over it and all that. And you can make people cry with words as well, and all sorts. But just, I hope and pray. But not too much, because you can't rely just on hope and prayer alone, You need to take action. Your intention has got to match your attention, right? Out of reach is out of touch. All the way is far enough. Got to go all the way. Got to go all the way. It's Bukowski, was it, in Factotum? There's a great speech at the end of that, isn't there? I don't know where it comes in the book, but it's at the end of the film, I think, on why you should go all the way. The dangers of that. But ultimately, why not go all the way? Give everything you've got. What a great romantic song this is, man. I think I might be checking out some more Roxy music this week. I never really delved into too many of their albums. I've got Manifesto, which this is from, but there's a best of with there's a woman on the cover, as there usually is with the Roxy music album. But there's a best of, which is green. I don't know, we might have 20 tracks on it or something, but man, that's a great collection of songs, man. Great collection of songs. Beautiful stuff. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little journey, this little meander through all the thoughts I've had, inspired by Roxy music. Hope you have a great day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.